Hi everyone, welcome. I'm down here in my yellow buckets. This is bucket number 3, and I've also got buckets number 4 and 5 set up. And these yellow buckets have the European nightcrawlers living in them for 194 days now. Fed 15 times. That last feeding was a couple weeks ago, 14 days ago. And the other interesting thing about these systems is that we've been actually running a little bit of a test, because everyone kind of knows that corn cobs take, just short of forever to break down in a worm bin. But no one could ever really put a finger, or at least I can never really put a finger on just how much time it takes. So we started the counter. So we've been counting down the days ever since we put a couple corn cobs into each system. But these corn cobs were a little different. They'd been soaked in water to see if perhaps that would soften up the material and perhaps, speed along the breakdown process. Before we get too down into it, let me just show you what they're getting, because I'm almost ready to drop it in there. It's a few tomatoes from my garden. This is probably the last of my garden produce. And I had 2 tomatoes, so I cut a third off each. So those 2/3 together make theoretically an equal portion of what's left of the other 2, from which I donated bits and pieces. And then same story with the cucumbers. Took 2 1/3 pieces to join them into a hole over here, and what remained was 2/3. So that's going to be the quiz later. 2/3 is the subject of today's video. Please don't forget. All right, let's dig in here. I usually try to be careful, because since we are treating the observation of the corn cobs and the time it takes for them to break down as a little bit of a test, I don't want to interfere with the test by helping the corn cob along. The other interesting thing is that 2 feedings ago we gave them banana peel. So no, this is not it yet. This is a piece of paper towel. It's got to be around here somewhere. And here's one of the corn cobs. But the unusual thing we did 2 feedings ago was we took the banana peel that we fed them, and we took a couple of these cardboard tubes from the toilet paper roll and stuffed stuffed the banana peel down into those doubled up cardboard tubes. And in the case of this system, we unraveled the cardboard a little bit to get a better look inside. But then we kind of left it intact for the most part. I don't see any of the banana peel. That's kind of what's giving me pause. Here's another piece of corn cob. I found 2 so far. I've stuck them in the corner over there. Usually I'll just try to put them near the last feeding to see if we can increase worm traffic on and around the corn cobs. I guess that's the only other thing I'm doing as far as non-intervention. I am, trying to keep them where the feedings are being put. So the whole thing of last feeding was this mystery food, and I didn't know the name of it during the video, but now I do. It's persimmons, and each system was given a persimmons and some bread, a good bit of bread that had been soaking in water for a while. Look, I found the stem of a banana. And even though last time it seems like perhaps the banana peel wasn't getting a whole lot of attention, I guess it did some catching up. And here's just some more of that rolled up cardboard. I guess it must have slipped off when I was not paying attention. So my idea for bedding this time was just to return these back down along with leftovers. So little bits of banana, little bits of corn cob. And perhaps some of the stuff that we collected off the top surface right here, because to me that seems like enough. Right now there is a pretty good surplus of bedding in these systems, so I thought we'd give them a little opportunity to catch up. I also imagine that some of that leafy matter that we collected could just get blended into the material in general. So I guess before we level things off here, I thought I'd do a quick dive down into the outer edges as well, now that the feeding has been put in place. And I kind of spaced out because I had also hoped to incorporate this piece of really tattered top covering piece of newspaper. But in all cases, all three cases, from what I remember from the last video, they were already in little fragments like this, hardly holding together anymore. And you know, I even thought about adding water, adding moisture. Wait, what am I talking about? I haven't even added the food yet. What am I, some sort of bozo? How did I get distracted? I guess just the piling in of the leaves into the feeding zone and the cardboard, I don't know, drew my attention. So now we get to catch up on what I spaced out on earlier. We'll get this piece of newspaper down where it's going to get some nice attention. And I've got replacement top coverings made out of some of that really durable bag. I've got sugar bags and flour bags, and those are like actually double bags, and they're super durable. So I've got one of those. I think it's a sugar bag that I cut it into 3 pieces, and it's basically kind of like 4 layers. I'll show you when we deploy it. So that's kind of part of the feeding, but I've got coffee here. I figured we'd give them coffee, and I've got my grit, so let's give them some grit. But as far as moisture goes, I think that those tomatoes are going to be sufficient in terms of supplying the system with a little bit of additional moisture. Other than that, the moisture level in here feels great. So let's see if we can be a little bit more attentive and not blow right past giving them their feeding. I guess the top covering, this is the thing I was unsure of, because it seems like if I put this, so here you can see it's double bag, and there's 3 of them, you know, because I unfolded the top and bottom of the bag, and then I had this tube of cardboard that I separated 3 ways. So now, I mean, now the top covering is completely covered in plastic. Perhaps the outer edges will get a little bit dry, but I think we'll be in pretty good shape here as far as that top covering getting damp just from the recirculating moisture beneath it, and hopefully comfortable enough that the worms will start making some use of it. So that's bucket 3. Let's get on to bucket number 4. And you know what? We can get bucket 3 out of our way. Perhaps give ourselves a little bit more space over here to work. And now let's see if we can get into cookie cutter mode and pick up the pace, right? So this stuff we figured will all be really nice foundational bedding to go beneath our feeding. And instead of separating the eaten up piece of newspaper top covering, I'm just going to keep it over there with the leaves, of which we're going to use some to create a foundation for the feeding. And then, even though I unrolled the cardboard tube from around the banana peel, at least to a certain degree, over in bucket number 3, over here in buckets number 4 and 5, I did not. So if we encounter the cardboard tube unraveled, it's not because of me. You can even see the banana peels right down there inside the tube still. And I guess curiosity got the best of me last time. I wanted to see if worms were down inside the tube, nestled inside the little hidey hole and enjoying the banana peel. But I figured, you know what, let's let that kind of run almost like a test, you know, and not interfere with it. Let it continue. I've already found 3 pieces of corn cob here. I've been as gentle as I can be with them so as to not crack or damage any of them. And I don't know what this is. Aha, okay. Persimmon. This is the flower, or the leaves, I guess, or whatever, of the fruit. But no signs of the fruit. No signs of the bread either. So the persimmons and the bread they got 14 days ago. No surprise, all gone. Alright, so there was this old paper towel we bumped into along the way. A nice little healthy dose of the leaves over there. Leftovers and cardboard, onto which we're going to drizzle a little bit of tomato and cucumber deliciousness. So here perhaps we'll go with the half and half solution to dividing up cucumber and tomato evenly, as well as a few cherry tomatoes, and I believe that leaves us with sufficient stuff with which we can complete the feeding, getting over into bucket number 5. So here in bucket number 4, so far everything seems to be meeting up with expectations. So let's see if continuing on over here by backfilling the feeding zone and at the same time maybe blending in a little bit of leafy matter will probably end up doing the system a lot of good. I mean, over at least on that other side, it seemed like what I was pulling up was almost castings only, so getting a little bit of leafy matter and bedding type material mixed in with the stuff probably ain't a bad idea just on its own. So that's pretty cool. We got a good bit of leafy matter blended in over there. And you know, guess what? Some of you are probably yelling at the screen, hey, what about the cardboard and the banana? I know. I would forget my head if it wasn't screwed on tight. So hopefully we've not scattered too much of the feeding all over the place, but I just had to re-bury a couple food fragments over here, but I think we'll be okay. Back on can come the new replacement. Well, not back on, but on can come the replacement top covering paper. Top covering newspaper. I mean, plastic. Gosh, I gotta start paying attention. And on to bucket 3, 4, and 5. Alright, let's get bucket number 4 out of the way. We can concentrate on bucket 5. Once again, hopefully, we'll be able to maintain focus and not screw up. But if I didn't screw up, it wouldn't be me, right? And you know, last time we kept that newspaper in the system with the leaves so as to not let me forget to return it. Well, you know, I'm going to take my chances. We'll leave it off on the side. Once again, I'm not going to interfere with this. Perhaps during the next check-in we'll start tearing these apart again, but it did seem to me like ripping one of them open at the first check-in after the first whatever amount of time it had been, a couple weeks again had passed between feedings, and it seemed like nothing really occurred with the banana peel inside the tube. And right now I kind of feel like we would probably see more of that. If we were to open another one of those up, perhaps we just leave it, and then if something obvious starts to happen where it warrants further investigation, then maybe we'll do a little bit more exploration with those in the future. But right now I'm thinking leave them be, put them back as we found them for the most part, and focus on getting these little guys their delicious, juicy meal. And you know, on the whole topic of the meal being juicy, I guess I'd even thought about maybe bringing in some extra moisture with today's feeding, but I'm really happy to report that everything seems quite nice down here. The moisture levels seem very comfortable, or at least seems that way to me in terms of what I think a worm would consider to be pretty comfortable. So 2/3 of a tomato, 2/3 of a cucumber, a couple scattered cherry tomatoes, and let's not forget a nice little portion of coffee. Actually, you know, yeah, I was already at the end. Figured let's just empty what remains. Perhaps they got a little bit more coffee than the other systems, but that's just fine. Now we'll do the same here. Oops, another piece of corn cob. Is that what that is? Sure feels that way, but I don't want to mess with it. All right, we'll just leave it be. Let's grab some material from over here. Here too, I'm feeling something large, a piece of corn cob. So we've not always found corn cob, all the corn cobs. We've not always tried to account for every corn cob in every system. They're sort of things that if we encounter them, that's cool, and we'll put them near the current feeding if we can, but if we don't find them, we're not going to go out of our way looking for them. So I think we've been pretty consistent. But you know what? Guess what? I'm going to be a laughing stock of YouTube at this point. My airheaded brainlessness. I don't know why. I usually feel like I can manage focus a little bit better, but maybe there's just something in the air. Whatever it is, distracting me. Hopefully it'll get better soon, because it's too late for this video. And guess what? I'm not even going to bother. At this point, this is just going to rest underneath the new replacement top covering quadruple bag sugar bag that's going in dry, and I'm curious to see if it's going to pick up some moisture content by being under the plastic. My guess is that it will, you know. But since it's also going to be getting a good bit of air from the edges, those portions probably won't get too damp. So I guess we'll just have to see. All right, everyone, I got a few things I got to take care of getting cleaned up and put away. But I'm not going to keep you around for that because that's boring. Before I go really quick, let me just say thank you. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, as always, please don't forget to leave me a quick thumbs up before you go. That's always really appreciated. And if you haven't done so already, please also consider subscribing to the channel. That's very much appreciated as well. All right, everyone, have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye now.